This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. Polls in Manitoba open in just 9 hours from now as municipal elections get underway across the province. In Winnipeg, all 198 polling stations open at 8 a.m. And by this time tomorrow, we should know who Winnipeg's next mayor will be. Polls will be open until 8 p.m. and as long as you're in line before then, you'll get to cast your ballot. And while you could vote at any polling station during advanced voting, you'll have to go to your assigned polling station tomorrow. The city's senior election official says the electronic voting machines have been tested and everything is ready to go.
Hopefully all the machines will work. We do have technology rovers out there with spare machines, everything else. If things break down, we're going to be there quickly. It doesn't stop the voting. If voting has to be interrupted, they'll go into an emergency ballot box and filled in at 8 o'clock or put in the machine at 8 o'clock.
Now here is what you need to know in order to vote tomorrow. You will need a piece of government-issued photo ID with your name and address on it, like a driver's license or your passport. If you don't have that, you can show 2 pieces of identification, like a hydro or phone bill that prove your name and address. Now you'll also need to know where to vote. You can find that on your voter's card. If you didn't get one of those in the mail, you can find the information on the city's website or by calling 311. Now, 2 Winnipeg mayoral candidates were out today making some last-minute promises. Sean Loney says if he's elected tomorrow, he will ensure future mayoral candidates cost out their campaigns before the end of advanced voting. But he said that will require legislation from the province and probably wouldn't withstand a constitutional challenge.
Just come out with their fully costed platform and say what it is they're going to do, how much it's going to cost, and where is it they're going to get the money. I think that's pretty reasonable, and voters deserve that.
Meanwhile, candidate Rick Shawn says he wants to fix up Alexander Docks. The docks have been closed since 2015 after being deemed unsafe. Shawn says he'd spend $12 million on a revitalization. Don't forget to tune in to CBC Manitoba tomorrow night. We will bring you special election night coverage starting right here at 8 p.m. as soon as polls close. You can also watch our special coverage on CBC Gem on our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba, or streaming on our CBC Manitoba YouTube page. To some other news tonight, it's a weekend nobody in Manitoba's healthcare system wants to relive. It caused a well-respected doctor to think of quitting and left patients waiting hours for care. CBC's Ian Fraze has the story.
Nicole Ward thought her uncle wouldn't wait in the ER for long.
I went to the triage nurse and I was like, listen, this is my family member. It's likely they're septic. They're at high risk for infection.
Her uncle has stage 4 bile duct cancer. The bile was accumulating in his body, but at Health Sciences Center ER, his condition wasn't severe enough for immediate care. He waited 48 hours. It left Ward in disbelief.
You see the signs all over here, right? Patients first. Right now, it's no one first.
Over at St. Boniface Hospital, one physician's day was so difficult, he took to Twitter and said he thought for the first time of quitting.
It's a hard thing and a devastating thing to feel when you stare back at your patient's eyes, feeling almost like you've failed them.
The emergency room doctor says too many nurses have already left. Those who are left behind cannot keep up. A Doctors Manitoba survey says 67% of respondents feel distress they cannot provide the necessary care to their patients.
We'll be looking at incentives that bring our agency nurses back to the public system, that bring our retired nurses back, and bring our nurses that may have resigned.
Gordon says she'll have more to say on those measures, including cash incentives, in around a week. The Nurses Union has called for incentives for more than a year. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Members of QP Local 500 have voted to accept a new contract with the City of Winnipeg. 75% were in favor of that new 2-year agreement. The tentative agreement was reached with the city 2 weeks ago, which narrowly averted a strike. Union President Gord Delbridge says even though the contract was ratified, there is much to do.
I think for the incoming mayor, I think it's going to assist him with recruitment and retention. It's going to assist the citizens of Winnipeg with with having service delivery that they all count on. But I think there's a lot more work to do yet.
Now, Delbridge wants to see better working conditions for city employees, plus better wage increases in line with the high inflation rate. Well, from a BC winery to here in Manitoba, a unique wine is changing children's lives half a country away. It's named after a young girl from Brandon whose young life was cut short by a congenital illness. Tom Popick has the story.
It's harvest time at Courcelette's Winery in the Similkameen Valley, and this year's fruit on the vine will make spectacular wine. But October has become a bittersweet month for Charlie Basler. In 2020, his phone rang.
It was a horrible moment. You know, my brother was even had a hard time explaining to me the situation over the phone, and when he got the words out, I remember, falling to a knee in the vineyard.
Charlie's niece, Olivia, just a week short of her 5th birthday, had died in Manitoba. The little girl had struggled with a congenital illness since birth, enduring surgeries at Brandon, Manitoba's regional hospital. Her parents, John and Crystal, and family across Canada watching Olivia grow, laugh.
Oh, you're good, honey. Keep pedaling. Don't stop pedaling.
And battle until the last breath. That day's Syrah harvest was gathered, pressed, and poured into one very special barrel, Olivia's barrel.
225 liters.
The wine has been bottled in remembrance of little Olivia, Olivia the Brave.
It's bigger than grapes, and it's bigger than wine. It's embodied with spirit and purpose.
All sales of the wine are being donated. Brandon Health Center's Director of Operations has already purchased a life-saving respirator for the pediatric unit where Olivia was treated. With Olivia's vintage almost sold out, the Baslers are thinking up new fundraising ideas. So the vines here can continue to grow hope and health half a country away. Tom Popick, CBC News, Karamias.
All right, here is a look outside tonight. It was a lot brighter today than it was the last couple of days. Still a bit breezy today, though. Now, tomorrow is Election Day. Meteorologist John Sauder is in next. He will have our Election Day forecast after the break.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. 22 model clear-out is on now.
It is the day after the Colorado low, and here in the south it was a brisk morning, but sun started to show up late in the afternoon. We'll see further clearing as we head into the night. There's the Colorado low now out over Hudson Bay, and we're still seeing lots of wind and snow along the Hudson Bay coast. That even settles down through the day tomorrow. Fairly bright morning for Election Day. Your Election Day forecast coming up here in a second. As we work our way toward the weekend, we start to warm up. There's a lot more sunshine. Thursday morning is bright, and in the afternoon, I'm saying a sun cloud mix, but I think that leans toward the sun. Mainly sunny on Thursday. For your Election Day, polls open at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can look at temperatures around -4 in Winnipeg, fairly light winds. Midday temp around +1, and then the afternoon we're at 4 degrees. By the time the polls close at 8 o'clock, it should be right around 2 degrees. So really no weather excuse not to get out and vote on Wednesday. 4 degrees is the high, then 12s and 13s, not just toward the weekend, but right through the weekend. Halloween looks dry and a high of 13 degrees during the day.
Thank you, John. That is your late news for this Tuesday. A reminder to tune in tomorrow for our special election night coverage starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.